Most of them are ordinances. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I guess we just need to make a note that Councilman Front Guard and Robinson are absent tonight. Old business, approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of April 18th, 2024 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 18th, 2024 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Stednicka?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
I'll ask the question anyway. Is anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item not on the agenda? Just in case. Josh, come on up. All right.
Connie? Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
There's still some folks out there. All right, presentations. We have a couple proclamations. The first one is Economic Development Week proclamation. Josh, you receiving that?
Oh, you got the right one.
Josh, go ahead and turn the mic towards everybody.
Just. I've got to wait for the mayor. Communities rely on economic development professionals to promote economic well-being and quality of life for communities like the city of Lansing. That means coordinating activities that create, retain, and expand jobs in order to facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. Economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of the American economy. Economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural, urban, local, state, provincial, and federal government, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. Economic developers attract and retain high-quality jobs, develop vibrant communities, and improve the quality of life in their regions. Economic developers work with the city of Lansing. Therefore, the city of Lansing in the state of Kansas proclaimed the week of May 6th through the 10th in the year 2024 as Economic Development Week in the city of Lansing and remind individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which supports expanding business opportunities and makes life better.
It must be a short.
I got it.
Just in the door.
I need to stand.
Moving us around and stuff, so I just want to make sure. Give her honest what's in uniform.
Chief,
Chief, come on up.
he looks good when he cleans up, doesn't he? Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day. In the week in which May 15th falls is National Police Week. The members of the law enforcement agency of Lansing play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Lansing. It is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. The men and women of the Law Enforcement Agency of Lansing unceasingly provide vital public services. The City of Lansing and the State of Kansas proclaims the week of May 12th through May 18th in the year 2024 as Lansing Police Week, in which all our people may join in commemorating enforcement officers past and present who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities and, in so doing, have established for them an inevitable
and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. We further call upon all citizens of Lansing to observe May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, item number 4, new business. Ordinance number 1105, amending ordinance 1068, while updating the code to reflect the changes in hours of sale per House Bill 2137. A sentence was inadvertently left out. Under Section 6 of the ordinance 1068, the code amendment for Chapter 3, Article 3, Section 304 of the Code of the City of Lansing is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 3-304, hours of sale. No person shall sell at retail any alcohol liquor on Sunday before 9 a.m. or after 8 p.m. on Easter Sunday, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, or before 9 a.m. or after 11 p.m. on any day when the sale is permitted. KSA 41-712. So I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1105, an ordinance amending ordinance 1068 authorizing Sunday sales of alcohol liquor and cereal malt beverages in the original package within the city of Lansing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
I have a question.
Okay, go Don.
It says no person shall sell at retail any alcohol liquor. Does that mean they can sell wholesale? Or is that assumed?
No, it's actually all encompassing.
All encompassing?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Studnicka?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 5 is ordinance number 1106, amending fees and retail sales of alcohol liquor in original packaging. Ordinance number 891 was approved, establishing business license fees for all non-home based businesses. Prior to this fee, the cost for liquor licensing was the state-approved maximum of $600. Once businesses were charged fees according to KSA 41-310 kilo, the fee for the retailer's license shall be $500. While updating the code to reflect the changes, the fee charged for liquor licensing was inadvertently left unchanged. Section in Chapter 3, Article 3, Section 302E have been amended to reflect the correction to the license fees charged. So I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1106, an ordinance amending license fees related to the retail sales of alcohol liquor in the original package within the city of Lansing.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? No? I have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Studnicka?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 6 is ordinance number 1107, amending fees for drinking establishments and private clubs. State statutes do not allow the total amount of fees to exceed $600 when fees include liquor license and business licenses. To amend the fees charged by reducing this fee to $500 when including the business license, the fee will not exceed $600. So I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1107, an ordinance amending the schedule of fees relating to the licensing of drinking establishments and private clubs within the city of Lansing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? No? Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Studnicka?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 7 is yet another ordinance. Ordinance number 1108, amending fees related to licensing of transient vendors. Ordinance number 1108 amends the schedule of fees related to the licensing of transient vendors, which are solicitors and peddlers, in the city of Lansing. Review, approval, and enforcement of transient vendors in Lansing has become more time-consuming in recent years. Ordinance number 1108 increases costs to offset some of the staff time associated with the transient vendors. Sections in Chapter 5, Article 2 amends the licensing of transient visitors to include KBI background reports, the amount of time, and the fees to be charged. So I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1108, an ordinance amending the schedule of fees related to the licensing of transient vendors within the city of Lansing.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
So this applies to the people knocking on the door, right?
Yes.
The ones that run when I ask them if they have a permit, right? Okay.
Unfortunately, it's hard to catch those people who
Right.
don't have their permits sometimes, but
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, if somebody knocks on your door, you got the right to ask them, show me your license or permit.
absolutely,
Well,
yes.
if I see anybody walk in my neighborhood, I pull over and ask them, even if they're not at my door.
That's a good practice, yeah. What was that?
They,
Did you-
they should have
a
a badge
Yeah.
like this if they're,
Oh,
if
can
they've
issue
come
badge
through
like
here.
that?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And it has the length of time and everything on their badge.
Good information.
Which means that they've gone through the background checks and everything else.
Oh, nice.
Good, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else on that?
Right.
Ian, did you have?
Do they have to have
Kevin?
that displayed? when
Yes, yes, we tell them they have to have it displayed.
Anyone else on this one? This one's popular. All right, got a motion and a second. Call roll.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Major,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Clements.
Yes.
Motion passed. Reports. Department heads. Any department head? Josh has something.
do. So I've actually got two things. So I wanted to discuss with you guys real quick and give you an update on what's going on with code enforcement. It's we've gotten through 4 months of the year now, and our code enforcement officer has had a grand total of 199 opened cases. He has closed 153 of them, leaving 45 cases currently open. Let's see, February was a standout in terms of number of cases, and he's doing a great job. Just so you guys are aware, he is doing a lot. He's working with a lot of folks. He's getting a lot of results. And so Bill is doing a great job. So just wanted to...
Biggest complaint.
Biggest complaint is... let's see, of the closed... I would say that outdoor storage, inoperable vehicles, large brush, and then unauthorized parking would be the top three. Now, our system does not actually allow for like multiple selection of multiples, so there's a lot of these cases that are you've got outdoor storage and you're parking incorrectly, all that type of thing. So I don't have a completely accurate count on that, but
It probably depends on the time of the year, too. Because right now, it probably would be grass.
yes.
He's going to be pretty busy.
He already, it's, growing season has not really even started, and he's already getting calls about dandelions in somebody's yard. So just so you're aware of the type of calls that he gets, people call and complain about dandelions in their neighbor's grass.
Noxious weed.
So let me ask,
Against the ordinance.
do we get calls and complaints about the old golf course?
We got a lot last year. I've not heard a lot this year yet. I'm expecting to hear more over the next couple of weeks. Bill has contact with them. We are working with them on scheduling cleanups and making sure that the frontage is taken care of, because if you remember, the property is zoned A1. They need to maintain 30 feet off the right-of-way. So
So it'll look like the old golf course over there on Maple.
Fairway?
Yeah.
yep.
Where they mow.
Potentially.
They mow, what, 30 feet in, and the rest of it's drawn up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Used to be 75 feet in Johnson County, so.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you and I can talk a lot about this, and my hat's off to Bill, really.
Good.
I've seen him out, I've seen him deal with people, I've seen him get results.
Mm-hmm.
I know he started behind the 8 ball, I'm aware of that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
We didn't get here overnight, and it's going to take a lot of days to get caught back up. But we're making incremental positive changes day after day, week after week. So,
Or changes we get made on Connie and Eisenhower, and I was thrilled to drive by the other day and see what was going on.
good. I will pass that along to him. So.
Okay, thank you.
If nothing else on that, I just want to bring back to your attention, at the end of February, we had discussion at a work session about a couple of UDO changes that I was presenting as potentials. We brought that to the April Planning Commission. So the 3 changes were to reduce the minimum lot size, allow accessory dwelling units or mother-in-law suites by right anywhere in a residential zone in the city, and then removing minimum parking. It was a long and good conversation with the Planning Commission. There were a couple of absentee members, but the conversation that we had was good. We talked about the frontage requirements and how wide lots could be in the new proposed smaller lots. We talked about how many accessory buildings could be on a lot and where they could be located for the accessory dwelling units, and then we talked a little bit about parking. There was not as much conversation about that, I think. I also found out in between then and now that Kansas City, Kansas has a goal to remove parking minimums in 2024. I'd like to be the first city in Kansas to do so, but that's a whole other conversation. So,
Can we do that at Harbor Freight's already?
We worked with them on that one, and we would be working with Tractor Supply right now with their current layouts. So it's a thing, and when I will present that in a couple of weeks to you in the May 19th. Is that the 16th meeting? And we'll talk about it then. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Chief? No. City Attorney?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
City Administrator? Tim, what do you got?
Chief and I we had a good meeting with the Humane Society a couple days ago, and we worked toward hashing out that contract a little bit more that we talked about at the work session a couple of months ago. So verbally, we did speak about a little bit of an increase, so it wouldn't be triple the cost of what they threw out there, but we did discuss $42,000 a year. And if you guys recall, right now we're paying 21 or so between them and Leavenworth. So we would bring that before you guys at a future council meeting and let you guys talk to them or go through it.
Instead of tripling it, you're just doubling it.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again, where would we be without them in the city? I mean, they took in 6 puppies the other day, and they're getting them treated and taken care of and all that. So.
It's challenging.
There's a dog in my neighborhood that is a nice dog, and that's the only reason I haven't really called, because what are they going to do?
But, I mean, it matches our inflation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have some that say the inflation is only 13%. I beg to differ. I mean, there's nowhere I could go that the gas didn't double, that the groceries that I go to on Sunday didn't double, and everything else is doubled. I mean, you can't even get a hamburger today without it being double the cost it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, like it's
Dog food
a service provider to the city. That's why you fund that kind of service.
Well, I agree.
The
just
issues
saying
we've
that-
been having is it's full,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
you try to take the animal there, and you're giving them money to do that, and then you have to actually take it to Leavenworth to pay, and they charge you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I paid to get my.
I know,
animal
but
in
And that was one of the things that they did talk about putting in the contract to guarantee that anytime we take an animal there, they would make room for it. So, I mean, that's we won't be having to take animals to the shelter by Price Chopper anymore. So that was a good thing. And what I think one of you had said a moment ago too, it is a challenge because we want them to remain viable. We want them to remain open, and something like this gives them a bit of stability. Again,
they're doing a lot more fundraising now too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think they're doing that too.
Veterinarian
Yeah.
stuff costs, and food costs, and
Yeah, and
we
we've
think
talked
that
about,
if it only goes up 10%, you're sadly mistaken, because everything in the last 4 years has nearly doubled. So their cost to maintain probably has doubled or tripled. based
Everything
on-
costs. I'm sure Chief Wayman would love to double his budget too, but, you know, we have to maintain a certain.
Oh, I got it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
yeah, we've talked of other
Doesn't
things too.
surprise Doesn't surprise me.
You know, when we have events, they'll also have an event where people bring a bag of dog food. You know, I mean, as part of the, you know, event, they can do some volunteering that way.
Yeah.
Do some donations that way.
We
Donation.
And then-
went to the Bring Your Dog to Scooters, and he gets a free cup of ice cream or whatever it is. But while you're there getting that free cup, you're also buying $15 worth of drinks that you wouldn't have bought if you hadn't took your dog.
To be fair, Freddy's does that as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're taking your dog a lot of places, huh? Getting
Oh, yeah,
free
no.
ice cream, are you?
He gets, a lot of times they give him more than I
he
get.
says it's for the dog. You gotta watch him. Okay.
Well, so I
Thanks.
wanted
Thanks,
to,
Tim.
wanted to
Anyone
brief
else
you guys
you got?
on that just because that'll be coming up at a future meeting.
Got a question on that before you get off.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Please. Didn't we at one time, we're going to talk with the county commissioners about the other municipalities in this county?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting something in their budget lines to help the Humane Society, or help.
Yeah.
Have we done that? And are
We asked
county
them-
Commissioners, you know, they get out the door, what's?
We asked them that at the meeting. So they had said Baser, I think, agreed to do what they requested. Now, Baser doesn't have nearly as much because they have their own small animal impound or whatever. But Baser supposedly agreed to that. And I was told the county commission is going to discuss that during their budget. So they did ask the county, and the county said they would review it during their budget time. So
It looks like a fair amount of their dogs are from the county. Found out in the county.
Don't look now, but the name of it is Leavenworth County Humane Society. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
well, so they don't have a final number on what the county would do or anything like that, but they did say they approached Sheriff Dedeke, and it'll be discussed during budget time.
All right, good.
Yep.
Good.
I know a couple of you guys had asked questions about when the apartments are going to kick off. I think we're expecting to see those guys start moving dirt in a few weeks. We told them, or we encouraged them to try to do a lot of that beginning work once school was out, because I think for weeks and weeks you guys are going to be seeing trucks hauling dirt away from that site. They have to do a lot of work to level that site and lower it a little bit. So that'll be a big part of the summer. When you think about it, you know, West Mary Street is going to be a construction zone with the pool and the apartments this year. So that will be a busy corridor. So.
Tim, where are they hauling the dirt off to? Is it somewhere in the county?
I think they're going to be storing it at their site on Gilman. Line Weaver Construction will.
Oh, okay, the line of Weeder was doing the hauling.
Yeah. Yep. And then finally, we had a really productive meeting again with Delaware Township on Monday night. We talked about ideas for the budget and things like that. I think we'd mentioned to a couple of you guys, I mean, we're preliminarily working on the citywide budget right now, and as a part of that, preliminarily, we're including 9 mills to accommodate for fire protection. We're doing one scenario with Lansing, Delaware, and High Prairie, and just another scenario with Lansing and Delaware, since we're not sure. I think High Prairie is kind of kicking around some options right now. But I thought the meeting on Monday night was really productive, and it was a good meeting, and I think we're pretty close to finalizing the contract. Councilman Major or Clemens, I don't know if you guys have anything to add, but I thought it was a really good meeting.
I think Delaware is totally supportive of contracting with us. they did ask for a separate contract so they could focus on their needs without being distracted by everything else. So they just wanted us to deal with them, and then we could deal with anybody else as they came along.
Yeah.
Great meeting.
It's time to put this thing to bed one way or another.
And I feel like we're pretty close to that. We invited Chief Stackhouse to meet with me, Beth, and the mayor to start going over budget stuff and everything. So we're making progress.
Yeah, very productive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What were you going to say, Mayor? Did you have something?
Well, you'd mentioned a 9 mil, so I mean, we need to be out front and talk how that would be really a wash.
Yeah.
I know, but we say you threw an extra 9 mils in there, so I mean, I don't want that to be misinterpreted. So I know it's timing, and we have to plan for it, but we're paying 9 mils to the county. As soon as that stops, we'd pay it to the city. I mean, we'd be just keeping it.
That's you bring up a good point, and around the time the summer connection comes out, that's going to be something we'll have to
explain to them,
explain to a lot of people,
have a good
because
communication plan.
Yeah, because thank you for clarifying that. I mean, the fire protection increase would be offset by zeroing out FD1's 8.999 mils right now.
Right.
So it would be a wash, yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I have.
All right.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, one last thing. We, at that last work session, I think a couple of you guys talked about potential areas where we might look at doing RHID, and we can kind of go over that at a future meeting. But I did put a list to the future land use map in my report. So if you guys want to look at that, that kind of shows you the future land use map, so you can see like this area is proposed to be zoning in however many years. So you guys can look at that based on some of those properties we looked at. So that's all I have.
All right. Thanks, Jim. And we'll go around the horn. So Don, you get to start off.
Just a comment on the golf course. I've gotten more phone calls in the last month about what's going on with the golf course than I've gotten phone calls in the 20 years I've been on the council. I'm serious. People stop me on the street and whatever. I told them we're working with the people and we'll see what we can do. I'm especially getting calls from the people that back up to the old golf course. You know, they want to know, going to be houses, is it going to be something else? Is it going to be apartments with a 9-hole golf course, you know, whatever. So, that's just thought I'd throw that out there to you. We got to get them off the dime to do whatever. And then I got a question. When is Tractor Supply going to break ground over here?
I don't think we have a date yet. So, I mean, they're still working through things. So.
Oh, really? I thought they were going to break ground last month. What I kind of thought, got the impression.
They've had delays. I think they've had delays with their entrance and things like that.
So, okay. All right. That's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Don. Kevin.
Just thank you for Josh and recognizing the Economic Development Week. And Chief, we're recognizing one day and 1 week for law enforcement, but we know you guys work 24/7, 365, so we appreciate what's going on with you guys.
That it, Kevin?
Yes.
Gina.
Yeah, I agree with what Kevin just said, and I want to add the fishing derby is Saturday. So whatever it is you personally do to make the rain go away, please make it go away. Whatever, light candles, voodoo dolls, whatever. Because this will be the first one, and the Trinkle family and friends have really stepped up as far as donating prizes. So let's hope the weather gives us the fishing derby. That's all I have.
Thanks, Gene. Marcus.
Tim, on I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, you wrote us an email and we discussed about how you were working with writing a proposal for some type of funding that could help offset from sidewalks to whatever.
Yeah, the grant.
Can you give us an update on that? When is that deadline?
It's due May 17th. I've asked the school district to help, guess, put the word out for letters of support. I'm not sure where they're at with that. But if you guys remember, I think what sparked a lot of this was when they changed their busing policy, and then they would have all of these kids supposedly walking down 4-H with no road or with no sidewalks, then turning left and going to the high school with no sidewalks. So that's what sparked a lot of that. Again, since it's just an open ditch, our engineer preliminarily thought it would be like $3 million. So it would be a very expensive project. So we would have to apply for a grant for that, and the grant would cover, I think it was 75% or something like that. But that's due May 17th, and fingers crossed that we're successful. That's the same program that we use to fund the Angel Falls Trail. So similar program there. And then beyond that too, kind of a fallback in a way, but also legit in and of itself. We applied for a grant through the Mid-America Regional Council to redo 4-H Road and do with a roundabout. So that's a separate pot of money. So even if we're unsuccessful with the trail grant, that's a separate grant. That's through the Mid-America Regional Council. So that would redo 4-H, widen it, curb, gutter, sidewalks, the whole nine.
That's the one we voted on. We had several different courses of action to choose from in the work session, and we chose that one.
Yes, yes, 4-H,
Yeah, I just didn't know what that, I knew there was a date coming up in May for the sidewalks. So we need to get as many parents as we can to write. I'll have to get all that information from you again, because I'll start beating that door down pretty hard.
Yeah,
they want those sidewalks.
Yes.
And, well, then they need to take the time to write a letter compelling safety is the number one reason, right?
And that was the thing when I applied for a different grant. The feedback I got from KDOT, we had letters of support from Representative Bueller, Mr. Pittman, and I think the superintendent, and those are great. But the state had told us, you know, it's handy to have letters of support from people who are impacted by it, from people whose kids are walking in the middle of the road because there's no sidewalks.
Right.
So if there's any acquaintances or people you guys have in your wards who bent to your ear about kids walking to school with no sidewalks, follow up with them and see if they'd write a letter of support for our grant. I think that would, the state made it sound like that would go further than letters from politicians.
Should they send them to you, or?
Yeah, to me would be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we put that in the e-blast or something too?
Yeah, potentially.
Like a little blurb?
Yeah, like blow it up on social media, blow it up on whatever you got to blow it up on, because we're like only 2
I mean,
weeks
pretty much
out.
everybody reads that e-blast. That's why I'm saying that. So, I mean, I get a lot of feedback
Yeah, we'll put it on a
that.
sign out front. That's good. We'll pay all that for that sign.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's pretty good. All right, Mayor, that's all I've got. Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jesse.
Thanks a lot.
Jesse, what you got?
Yeah, ditto what everybody else said. Thanks, Josh, to you and your team, your economic development, everything you guys do. Thank you to the police officers. They really work hard. I can tell you right now, me and my wife were in La Coretta the other day, and we walked in, there was a couple officers enjoying their dinner, and as soon as me and Britta sat down, they went flying out the door, not knowing whether they got to enjoy their dinner, whether they were done, or whether their food was in the kitchen and it was going to be cold when they came back, but they jumped in the action, whatever they were going to do, and we appreciate everything that they do to serve our city. But that's all I've got.
All right, thanks. And Dan.
I'd like to echo what Jesse and Kevin said. A lot of times it may feel like it's a thankless job, but we do care and we appreciate it for both of you. And with that, Mayor, I make a motion to close the meeting.
Sounds like a motion to adjourn.
Yeah. I think that's what he said.
Do you guys have a second? Anybody second the motion?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Call a roll.
Mr. Sidnica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
How long do I have to think about it? Yes.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
Motion passed. We are adjourned.